now at a place called the Ostkantine. It's not really part of the museum. It's maybe some sort of overflow collection, but there's very rare and very interesting stuff right here. Try to show you around. Many people today here, so I try to get the best out of it. If you come to Eisenach to visit the museum, well, please make sure to come on a date when this is open, because usually it's not open for the public, but on days like that it is, and well, it's stunning. It's actually a history lesson in Eisenach automobile production. It started all with the BMW, the Dixie, based on the good old Austin 7, and after the war production started with the BMW 321. And production of BMW cars in Eisenach has quite a long history, as you can see with the Dixie right over there. And well, as far as I know, production in East Germany started a little before the factories in West Germany were back on track again. So 321, original BMW design, and many went to Soviet Union, some part of repair payment because of all the because of the war. Germany started and lost. So what else? Also a pre-war design based on the DKW, I think on the Meisterklasse. Again, I will correct myself right here. And this was the IFA F9. Here in a convertible version called the Cabrio Limousine. Then we have the IFA F9. The regular car was always a two-door car, and this has also the name EMW 309. This car is from 1956. So let's go here. This is one of the two three-door estate versions of the Wartburg 311, called the Kombi wagon. This has the very old grille, so this looks like a very early production car. These are very early East German number plates. And I just said there were two different versions of the three-door estate. The one had this kind of more round rear treatment, and the later one was a more boxy type. So let's check out how it is inside. Well, and these actually had still the engine taken from the F9, and this went on and on and on. So let's see the other cars. I think this is a later saloon. By the way, this grille, this was at the 312 or 313 Sport, and later in its production life, all 311, 312 got this kind of front grille. Let's check out what's here. This is one of the rarest versions of the 311. 312, that was the Kubelwagen, made for the police, and I bet only a handful of these cars are over again. And this has the very old grille layout. This is a 59 car. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Let's get to some more 311, 312 versions. So this was the convertible version, the 311-2, lovely grey color, with lovely nice Fox, and well, just as the Kubelwagen, I'd say that this is maybe the rarest version of it. This is the pickup, the transporter version of the car. I've only seen one other of these roaming around, and the design is pretty interesting. So this had also the name Schweinewagen, pig car, pig wagon, and they built the car or they delivered the car without the whole panels down here because material was scarce and you could buy the Schweinewagen, this 311 version without all that, and well, use your own materials. And well, I think it's absolutely stunning. Love the condition of it. Why is this the rarest one? Because well, these cars were used, heavily used. So most of them simply died and rusted away. Well, I bet this is a hell of a restoration job. Don't know what the plans are with this car. Absolutely interesting. And then we have the coupe version. Stunning two-color paint job. And this looks absolutely mint. If you have me just check the interior of this car. Built at the Marane factory. So one interesting detail is the panoramic rear window this has. In later production years, these weren't there anymore because it was very, very difficult to produce them. I'm not even sure. I think these were built in West Germany, the window. I'm not sure. It's a Securit, well, I don't know. Again, very nice car. Then we have one of the most iconic versions, and that is the Estate. Just have a look at the back of the Estate version, and the Estate had this beautiful sort of, it's also panoramic, I don't know, rear window. There was a version called the Camping, and it has a folding roof right over here, over the rear section of the roof, and that's, I think it's a stunning looking Estate. This looks very East German. This is not an original striping, I don't know. Just check how it looks inside. I think this blue paint on the dashboard is a later addition to the car. And what else? That is the 312 Coupe HT. And HT is for hardtop. This car was delivered with a factory hardtop. Very rare car nowadays. And if you ask me, as a successor for the 313 sports car, it's kind of odd looking, if you ask me. So the grille looks very heavy, not sporty at all. So this is the HT. Now, super interesting here at the parked back in a corner. This is the 313-2 prototype, successor for the 313 for the Wartburg Sports. This was planned to have I think a mid-engine layout, and it was very, very hard to handle. Proved not to be good in tests yet. Some of these prototypes survived the GDR, were in private hands. Would love to see one of these cars back on the road. I think at least one is actually on the road. And when you look at the design, you know what I see here is a Renault Caravelle. Super interesting, super interesting car. Just check out what is inside. I love the sporty steering wheel with the white accents on the sides, on the wheel. Then we have a very early Wartburg 353 Deluxe with a blue roof, lots of chrome parts, and this is a mint original interior from back in the day. I love the old dashboard, the old tag this had. Lovely blue cloth interior. And we have a Melkos. So Melkos was a East German sports car with gull wing doors, by the way. It's the RS 2000, and well, this has a Wartburg engine in it. So let's have a look inside of this car as well. Super interesting. So I grew up in East Germany, and the town where I grew up, there was one of these cars. It was quite a sensation to see that on the road. Now we have a Voicy Wartburg. This was driven by Emil Kulmbacher, one of the known East German rally drivers. And well, you know, some years ago I went to the AW Museum, and I just knocked on the door of the Ostkantine just to try if someone's there. Someone opened the door, and I told him, well, you know, I'm interested in cars, I want to see some interesting Wartburgs. Can I get inside? And well, this guy opened the door and showed me around, and I later found out it was Emil Kulmbacher himself, famous East German rally driver, and absolutely nice guy. So this is also very interesting. This is the right-hand drive version of the Wartburg 353, sold as the Wartburg Knight. And this is a Mark IV, and I don't know what that means. So I never seen a Mark III, a Mark I, or Mark II. So maybe you can help me. Love the color of this. By the way, the UK was one of the most important markets for Western European Wartburg exports. This is the export grille treatment, so it had chromed trim around on the headlights and a black grille. Unfortunately, windows are closed, but just see there's the right-hand drive layout of the car. And I think production of the right-hand drive model stopped somewhere in '76 because of emission regulations, and it was simply impossible to keep it on the market. And I think it's one of the most interesting cars here in the whole collection. And it is parked beside a very, very early 353-1000. Just check out how it's inside, because this has the very rare white original Wartburg steering wheel with the early tag in the chrome parts right here, just as this one. And well, this has the early Wartburg 1000 badge on it. And again, with something quite amazing. This is is it a Wartburg convertible? Something like that. So what it is, it's the Wartburg 400 prototype. Just like this one, some sort of Kübelwagen project. There were some built for some of the East German state officials. At the museum there's a personal car from Erich Milke, who was head of the East German Secret Service. Terrible guy, excuse me. Anyways, there was a Greek importer for this car, and they had the plan to sell these in Greece as some sort of, well, leisure vehicle, if you will. And well, a handful of these are still there. Some of these were actually built with different engines, I think from Dacia and from Renault. So most parts of these cars are made of glass fiber. So with some suicide doors here at the front. This is how it looks at the back. So there's an interesting rumor. As I said, this is mainly built around a glass fiber shell, and the rumor is that these can actually swim. I don't know if it's just a sort of urban Wartburg legend. Interesting. Now, as said, there were many attempts to keep the Wartburg on the market with different engines, and one of the most interesting cars right here is the one with the Renault engine. So later in its life, the Wartburg was sold as a 1.3 with the VW engine. That proved to be quite expensive. So almost before it was all over, they got this Renault 1.4 engine in it, but it was all too late. Yet there's this running and very, very exciting prototype of this car. Looks completely like a pretty regular 1.3, but with the Renault engine. That is very exciting stuff. So what else? This is the regular 1.3 with a VW engine as a very, very green estate. Another highly discussed option for the Wartburg was the Dacia engine out of the Dacia 1300, basically a Renault layout, but well, it was not going to happen. So the Wartburg 353 had a long, long life as a, well, two-stroke. Okay, so there were many good ideas, and the best idea was a own four-stroke engine based on the three-cylinder two-stroke unit, and that was this one. So it fits perfectly into the car. It worked great, proved to be very economical. Let's check out how it looks inside. So it's a usual Wartburg light with some test panels right there. Interesting, the back of it already has some bits of the layout of the later 1.3. But unfortunately, the whole project was stopped because, well, there was the deal with Volkswagen. So it ended up to be as one of the, in my eyes, big missed opportunities Wartburg had to keep this car on the market. It had 60 PS, this engine, overhead camshaft, as far as I know. Fantastic stuff. And now I'm at the main museum of the Automobilwelt in Eisenach. Lots of Wartburg insides here. There's a 311. This is the Dash 3, the coupe, built at the Marane factory, hence this little extra badge. Then we have another awesome looking, stunning red Wartburg 313S coupe. Just check out how beautiful it is inside. Then we have an F9, the EMW 309 limousine, a beautiful 311 saloon with a folding roof option. And this is, by the way, a very early F9 with the split window here at the back. And these are one of the very early cars here from Eisenach production. This is the EMW 327 coupe. Then we have the large EMW 340 series, 342 in black color still, very obviously the lines of BMW designs to see here. This is a 1953 car, and these are impressive large barges, if you ask me. And then we have a BMW 321. So this is where it all started, right after the war, when it all looked more or less like that. Said when Germany started the war, lost the war, and then, well, it started again. BMW 328 Roadster, and then we have some older cars here. These are all BMW Dixies from the pre-war era. So as you might have noticed, I'm just going the wrong way here, but it's all very, very interesting. And this is all how it started. This is Dixie R9. What do we have here? So I know nothing about pre-war cars. Dixie R8 6-14 PS. It's a Doppelphaeton, whatever that means. Now let's take a look at all the missed opportunities Wartburg had. So there were different attempts to get a new and modern car. There's some of the designs mainly built by a chap called Hans Fleischer. He was in Germany it's called the Formgestalter or something like that. The designer with all the different cars he designed over the years. Early attempts for a 312 successor. What I really like is the planned coupe version of the 353. This was designed to be the 610. So this is very interesting. This is actually a 610 prototype. This actually had a four-stroke engine, and this was it was built together with the Sachsenring Automobilwerke in Zwickau. So the idea behind the 610 was to get a car for all. So that was a successor to the Trabant 601, and was also a successor to the Wartburg 353. So all and everyone was involved. That all happened around 78, and yeah, just check out how it looks inside. So the new dashboard design, quite a lot of room inside. And this is how it looks from the back. Has a bit of a Skoda-ish design. Can we say that? Skoda-ish? I think you know what I mean. And then we have one of my absolute favorites, and that is the 355 Coupe. This was built on a glass fiber body. This example still has this the two-stroke 3-cylinder unit, and I think this is a very interesting bit of Wartburg history, because what I think is that Wartburg used glass fiber technology from a Reliant scimitar, because AWE bought a Reliant scimitar, dismantled it completely, were not interested in the engine and everything else, only the bodywork was interesting. So that's why I think, and it fits into the whole timescale of this car, that there was a bit of Reliant knowledge in this car. Well, let's check out how it looks. It looks at the back. I've seen many of these prototypes. They do have different treatments for the rear lights. So I've seen some with Lada sourced rear lights. Don't know where these are coming from. Far better look, if you ask me. A super interesting car. I'll talk about this one in a second. Then we have another 400 Kugelwagen, and I think this was used by Eric Mielke, head of the Secret Service. This has gotten the more known Wartburg 353 font fascia. It has a two-stroke engine, and it was used as a car for hunting. So these things are here just to lean on with your guns. This is for the unfortunate dead deer. Beautiful leather seats for the head of the Secret Service. I think these are the original plates for the car. Very interesting, if you ask me. Suicide doors, and again, and I don't know if it's a rumor or not, GFK. It's a glass fiber body, probably amphibious. I don't know. And on that side, one of the interesting last attempts to keep Wartburg alive, and that was the Irmscher Wartburg. So Irmscher was a West German company specialized in Opel tuning, and the boss of Irmscher, I think he came here from that Eisenach region. So he created the Wartburg new line, the Wartburg new line, and it had all kinds of updates. It had this massive rear spoiler here. It had a heck blender. There we have the Irmscher badge. It had large, massive bumpers, but spoilers. It had this black accent down below, sports mirrors. It was actually a very fun-looking car, but there were brochures of this car, but there wasn't any sort of production. However, the Irmscher wheels, they are quite a common extra to many of the Wartburgs here at the Classic Car Show and here at the museum. But there's more to see. Let's take a look at this very, very odd-looking Wartburg tourist estate version of the car. And this is known as the long nose. This was a test vehicle for the Volkswagen engine. AWE actually had a very, very good four-stroke based on the three-cylinder two-stroke, but it was not going to happen because of the deal with VW. And in the first attempt to get the engine into the car, they created this rather odd-looking long nose version of it. I think what they've done, they transported one of the Wartburgs over to Wolfsburg, and chaps in Wolfsburg tried to get the VW engine in it, and it not worked that well. So this all happened in the early 80s, and the 1.3, the actually Wartburg with the VW engine, this one came somewhere around, I think 88, 78, 88, I think 88. Well, it was all too late. And this is the last one. The last Wartburg 1.3 S from 1999, last ever produced. You can see these are the extra alloys already with the Opel seats in there. Still a on 4 gears, this car, and that was the end of it, really. And right after that, it went all to Opel. This is the first Opel Vectra, made in Eisenach in 1990, and then we have the first Opel Astra F. It's a 1.6, built in 1992.